I think the first thing to say is that we're being a kind of web agency predominantly. Um, it's not always the easiest way to get people onto retainer. They kind of see websites as a bit of a product, or certainly that was how it was for us. And if you don't, if that's how the conversation goes, then it always will be a product, and they'll kind of sail off into the sunset once you've designed a website which is, self-sufficient, because that's what they want. All content managed. It's difficult to then think about, what's the most obvious tie-in to keep that, to get that repeatable revenue. And I think for us, it certainly took years to get to that mindset, and it became the issue arose when we started realizing that the costs will happily keep creeping out the door each month at the same amount, and every time you bring someone else in, those costs are going to go up, and they're the most reliable thing in an agency, that the costs are going to sort of, if you've got full-time employees, going to stay the same or go up. They rarely go down. So it was about, I guess, 5 years into our journey that we decided we needed to find a way to get more repeatable revenue, and I think retainers, I guess, lend themselves to that model better. And I wish we'd done it a lot earlier on. And if I started an agency again, it would be, the first thing that I had in my mind was how we're actually going to, get clients working with us on a longer term basis rather than just for the project period. So
we're slightly more technically focused, I suppose, compared to Angela and Joe. We do our fair share of websites as well, but we tend to specialize in kind of application development. So for us, our retainers are mainly based around kind of support and ongoing changes, enhancements, improvements. And I suppose I'd probably describe them more as sort of partnerships. Which I know we all like to kind of call our client relationships partnerships, but it is a much more of that kind of basis. So we have either weekly or kind of fortnightly calls with our clients that are on retainer, where we kind of more frequently touch base with them, review and reassess where we're at, and then obviously change direction if we need to. For us, our retained fees are covering maybe closer to kind of 60% of our costs, which is cool, really exciting. And that's actually gone up more over the past sort of 3-4 months, from sort of 30-40% before, which is exciting to see. And yeah, as I say, for us, it's mainly around kind of support agreements, and providing a consistent level of service in terms of hours and kind of output to our clients on a monthly basis. So when we write our proposals for projects, we always include and agree as part of that proposal fee the ongoing aspect as well. So we're not just agreeing the project fee, we also get them sort of tied into some sort of longer term picture as well, when they sign that kind of initial project off. And that agreement or that scenario is normally a 12-month scenario. We then include 3-month kind of quarterly updates to that, where they can adjust the fee. So, for example, if we're helping to support maybe an e-commerce client, then they might have obviously peak times around Christmas, around different times of the year where they increase and decrease their hours throughout. Something which I considered, having had a conversation with a couple of other agencies, was setting a number of hours for the year, but you allowing the client to use them as and when they choose. So if they could theoretically use all their hours in 1 month, obviously you don't want that situation to come about, because that's probably a lot of hours, but it maybe gives them a little bit more flexibility around how they use that time, but they're still paying for it on a monthly frequent basis. And then also we include like a 2-month trial period in our retainers. So because I think, coming from like a client's perspective, I think the fear is obviously signing up to some sort of long-term agreement and not seeing any benefit from it, or actually not working out, and then not wanting to be tied into some sort of 12-month agreement where they can't get out easily if they need to, or if they want to. So yeah, that 2-month trial period tends to go down quite well. And during that, we just offer a reduced notice from either side. From I think beyond that, it goes to like a month's notice, like a calendar month's notice. But during that 2-month period, it's like a week.
My business comes at it from the other side. So we're a performance marketing agency. Performance marketing agencies generally speaking, work on retainers. So it's the accepted way of working.
Yeah.
And I should point out that when I was deciding what I was going to do, that led to starting this business a few years ago, I just don't think I would have started a business unless it could have been a retained business. So I'm extremely biased on this, and I'm also working in a slice of the sector where it's the accepted way of working. So I suppose there's a few things that I would add to this. So we work purely on retainers. We just simply don't do projects. And in fact, I don't know how to do projects anymore. And I don't know what it would mean for my business if we got a project, because us servicing our clients at the moment is very much assumed to be a small slice of all of my team's time, rather than the whole team's 100% of time for a limited period, if you see what I mean. So we're very much geared up to service retainer work. We do, I'm a big advocate of go cardless, so I will recommend that to anyone who will listen. We're a small business, and chasing fees and all of that is something I do not ever want to deal with. So we've never had a missed or late payment in the history of my business, because it's just always been on direct debit. So if you are on retainers, or even if you're not, direct debit is still an option, which removes a whole bunch of overhead.